It's that time again for the WrestleCord news break for April 26, 2026. We have a very slow news day today in the world of pro wrestling and MMA. Just a few things I wanted to go over with MMA. We recently had Ronda Rousey who's going to be taking on Gina Carano on May 16th for this Netflix show that's being promoted also by Jake Paul is involved in that promotion. She was speaking recently about her two MMA losses. First to Holly Holmes, where she lost the UFC. She lost her UFC title, and then later on in a attempt to regain that title against Amanda Nunes. Talking about the Holly Holmes situation, she said, "I was having neurological issues, and I was getting hit and basically losing chunks of my vision, depth perception, ability to track moving objects, to think clearly. I thought these were concussion symptoms. So after my first loss, it was like, fuck, it's finally caught up to me. I'm never going to be able to compete at the highest level again." Now, I think this is really interesting. This has been a pattern with Ronda Rousey never seeming to be unable to accept her losses at face value. There's always some reason that she couldn't possibly have competed at her best. I think it's very clear from anybody who watched that fight that she simply got outboxed by Amanda Nunes, who is a great striker on her feet. Ronda Rousey did not gain her success in MMA by standing and punching, and she attempted to do this. She had a new trainer in Edmund Targaryen, who obviously didn't do her any favors. I think it really diminishes the accomplishments of Holly Holmes taking out one of the best in the industry by her trying to, again, go back, say this was all due to injury, it was mounting concussions, and I don't know how many concussions Ronda has. I'm not saying she hasn't, but I think if you watch this bout, she made a very poor choice in how she decided to fight that match against Holly Holmes, and Holly Holmes simply outmatched her. She beat her on the feet, ending her with a head kick, and which is really a fun fight, folks, if you ever go back and check it out. If you are unfamiliar with MMA or UFC, or just unfamiliar of the history of women's MMA or Ronda Rousey in MMA, that I implore you to go back and see that fight. Of course, she would later return a year later to face Amanda Nunes to fight for the to try to regain her UFC title. That did not work out very well for her. She ended up again trying to stand and fight on her feet, stand and bang with Amanda Nunes, and once again just did not go her way as would be expected. She looked pretty terrible in her performance there, and that up until this Gina Carano fight is going to be was the last time we saw Ronda Rousey in the octagon. So it's going to be interesting to see her, both women, definitely past their prime here. So hopefully it will be an entertaining bout. I will be definitely keeping eyes on that on May 16th on Netflix. Also had a quick note, WWE star Seth Rollins had made an appearance for his old promotion that he was did many matches for before joining WWE. That is AAW, All American Wrestling. They were doing a show in Illinois, Berwyn, Illinois to be exact. It was the Crush and Destroy event, and he came out making a special appearance. Even had the chance to come out to his WWF theme, which got a lot of chorus of chants, which often, as he does in WWE, getting that sing along there. And then later on during his appearance, he did a speech in the ring. The fans began to chant Tyler Black, which is his independent name before joining WWE. Some of you might remember him from maybe Ring of Honor, former Ring of Honor World Champion under that name. So it seemed to be a really warm homecoming for Seth Rollins there. It's nice to see him go and give back to a small promotion. Part of why he was doing this, it seems too, is because this is going to be one of the last times that there's going to be wrestling in the Berwyn Eagles Club. That seems to be getting shut down now due to the fake stabbing, whatever altercation happened between MLW's Cruel and a fan. It was reported that Cruel was stabbed. It seems that was not the case. There at least seems to be no evidence of that. the owner of GCW, coming out and saying the same thing, that this was a fake stabbing, and unfortunately has brought the end of independent wrestling at the Berwyn Eagles Club. So unfortunate, after some 20 odd years of hosting wrestling there will be no more. I think this is going to be this AAW show was one of the last 3 that is going to take place at the Berwyn Eagles Club in Berwyn, Illinois. So definitely a loss to the independent wrestling world there. I also want to touch on some more unfortunate news we had out of MMA. This a bit more MMA heavy than usual. We had Tim Means, UFC fighter, was arrested for child abuse over an altercation with his 17-year-old daughter. This is all alleged, obviously. There's been charges filed, but he hasn't had his court date yet. So he was actually brought in on Wednesday and was released on Friday. I imagine that is under some sort of bond, but I can't be sure of that. So the incident occurred. Police were called to their residence. It looked like it occurred over an argument over chores, which seems to be a bit absurd of a reason to get physical over something. The claim is that Tim Means headbutted his daughter, then as the altercation continued, began choking her, and then also throw a potato at her face. Super bizarre. And then actually struck her with a fist. So the police report does indicate that she had red marks on her neck, on her face, backing up these allegations. And I hope that his daughter can get the help she needs in protecting herself from a situation like this. Is very horrible. And I hope that justice is served in this case. And hopefully Tim Means, he clearly needs some sort of help, whether that's being incarcerated or not. I'm not the one to say about that, but very unfortunate incident. Our condolences certainly go out to the family here, and hope that they can get any help they need. So also, real quick, that's pretty much going to be the end of our news break. I just want to remind everyone we're going to be releasing our next podcast, I believe, this evening, where we're going to be covering this morning's Stardom All-Star Grand Queendom event. Looks like all the reviews I've heard about it have been raving. I have not got a chance yet to watch it, but that is going to be on my docket for today, and we're going to cover all that on the next episode of the WrestleCord podcast. Thank you once again for joining me, Ryan, here, and we'll see you again tomorrow.